Excellency, tie all of this together for me, because what we see is the United States being Mubadala's biggest investment market at the moment. Is there any suggestion that that might change soon?
So I think the way I would put it, the United States will remain, I think, a very attractive market. The United States has a very clear, as Ross and Steve mentioned, I'm not going to repeat, very clear trajectory in terms of how that economy will continue to grow. It's a hub for innovation. It's a hub for innovation. I think in that sense, difficult to compete with that creative, innovative economy that the U.S. has in terms of the cash flow, the public market systems it has there, access to talent. I mean, the U.S. is quite well positioned and quite far ahead many other countries. But on the other hand, there are a lot of other interesting stories happening around the world. So you look at, for instance, at India. India today is the largest population in the world, 1.4 billion people. It is one of the most digitalized economies in the world, with a significant portion of that population with access to 5G. I saw a slide a couple of days ago that showed in light the amount of 5G network availability in India compared to many places in the West, i.e. the United States and Europe, and India is actually quite advanced in that stage. So it's it's an attractive economy, growing at 7 to 8% GDP per year, largest growing middle class. So that's an interesting economy that one has to keep a very close eye on. And infrastructure is going to be a key driver to growth there. India, I think, my last understanding, imports about 82% of its energy requirements. So you can imagine the amount of investment that's going to go into energy infrastructure in India as it goes through that transformation. I wouldn't discount China. China, again, that's another 1.4 billion population country. That's 1.4 billion consumers, huge infrastructure build out there. And when you look at it today, the last 3 years have been quite challenging in terms of the market in China. You look at the market caps of many companies in China today that are positive cash flow, attractive EBITDA, and then you look at their multiples and that they're trading at compared to many of their peers in the European markets or the US markets or other Asian markets. They're actually quite cheap. And I think from an investor that's looking at a 5-10-year horizon, there's an interesting opportunity for sure there. So my point, I think, the world is big. There are opportunities all over the world. It depends what your investment appetite, what your risk appetite is. And when you're looking at growth and when you're looking at innovation, you have to, I think, be open-minded to both east, west, north, and south.
I wanted to ask you about the region specifically as well. When it comes to the next wave of development for the UAE, I think we've seen extraordinary progress, particularly since 2020, in this country and around the region. What does the next wave of growth look like, and what is going to drive it?
So I think this is actually one of the most exciting areas for the region, the UAE. I think the UAE is I would answer, and so I know we're running out of time, so I'll be very short on this. Since 2020, when COVID hit the world, the UAE took it as a challenge. And actually, rather than go defensive, the UAE went offensive across the board. In the healthcare challenge, but then in every economic challenge that COVID put to all of us, to the whole world. Supply chains, technology enablement, etc., etc. That 3 year from 2020 to 2023 and now going into 2024 was an unbelievably exciting fueling period for what I feel now is the next stage, which is this next 10-year journey. This next 10-year journey is going to be focused on the human capital side of it. It's going to be exciting in the terms of all the themes I've mentioned. So energy transition, the UAE is one of the largest investors per capita in new energy transition projects, be it nuclear, be it wind, be it solar. So again, a huge build-up on the energy transition and energy generation side, without ignoring, I think, a point that I think Steve mentioned, that also the conventional aspect of energy is not to be ignored. The energy transition, by definition, is a transition which includes future, green technology sources, but also the present, which still has to play a big part in serving the world, particularly if you buy into the next point, which the UAE is really investing in, the technology and AI revolution, which is going to require tremendous investment in data center capacity, in R&D, in all kinds of enabling infrastructure that's going to support this AI revolution. So I think the UAE is very much well positioned to take advantage and to be part of this next stage of economic development.